Well, good morning, everyone. We are starting out and kicking off a new series that we are calling Tested. Just going to have some short devotionals about the idea of us really being prepared, really walking in our day, knowing that at some point, whether through negative or even positive, we'll be tested in the day. Question's real simple. Will you pass the test? So recently my son had a birthday and he's been collecting his money, my little 7-year-old, throughout the whole year as well. We've been collecting quarters and nickels from any change that we get. It's pretty interesting. I've been wondering where he's been putting all this change, all these dollar bills that he's been getting from people. And the other day as I was walking out of my room, I looked to the right and I see him in his room counting the money he has. I said, "Hey, what are you doing with that?" And he said, "Nothing." So a little bit later, after I had gotten back from where I had went to, wherever the store or whatever, I walked back up to my room and there he is again counting his money. And I said, "Buddy, what are you doing?" He said, "Nothing." I thought how interesting it is that already a 7-year-old is learning the idea of collecting and gaining power through the finances that he has. So I want to show you a verse, a passage, a parable that Jesus taught out of Luke chapter 12 that really spoke to me about tested. And he told him this parable. The ground of a certain rich man yielded an abundant harvest. He thought to himself, "What should I do? I have no place to store my crops." Then he said, "This is what I'll do. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones, and then I'll store my surplus grain. And I'll say to myself, you have plenty of grain laid up for many years. Take life easy. Eat, drink, and be merry." But God said to him, "You fool, this very night your life will be demanded from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself?" I think this is such a telling verse, and I think the reason why is because of the sin of one thing. If you look back at this, and you'll see it highlighted on the screen, how many times does this man say to himself the word my crops, my barn, my money, myself? See, that's a really, really interesting thing that many times can be a very big test for us. It's important for us as believers to start to consider the things that we have really not to be ours. Instead, I believe that we're supposed to be called to be stewards of that. Meaning this, that if this young man in this story right here considered what it was be giving to him as not necessarily his, but God's, there wouldn't be the temptation in the test for them to store for more. Sit back, be merry. I'm going to encourage you today as you walk through your day, whatever God's given you, that's actually his. You are a steward. Will you pass the test? We have to make a decision at the start of our day to actually use that which God has gifted us with for him. It's not yours, it's him. Will you pass this test?